No, it wasn't there to open.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 135th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the fast-talking, speed-walking Travis Snell.
I am the Adam Hardcaster, Dylan Muss.
I'm the Pacific Taylor Field.
Oh, wow, fuck you.
We are on Pacific Standard Time.
True. No rambling.
We also don't have a lot of time.
We don't have a lot of time. If you've seen our schedule, we're doing the day one coverage right now of Comic-Con. We're going to go see Dunkirk, and then we're going to come back and review it. So we're live streaming all the time. Tomorrow we got Comic-Con coverage. Saturday we do. We're going to jump right into it. First, let's just get into the
Let's get into it.
Let's get into the trailers. Fox had their panel today. All they gave... I
hear it was disappointing.
It was just... It's in my notes. Let me do a quick little rant. Fox for weeks been talking about...
no rants.
No, a quick one. They have a Hall H panel, and they're like, that's usually like, oh, they're doing Predator right now. They're filming Deadpool 2. They're doing all these X-Men movies. Nope, it was an hour of Kingsman. I like the first Kingsman. I know a lot of people love Kingsman. I feel really bad for the fans that had like sit in line for like hours and wait to get into Hall H just to like. I'm sure a lot of people really like Kingsman, but just an hour, everyone's really kind of disappointed.
I didn't even know that was Fox, so I would go into that and be like, "What the fuck is this? Am I in the wrong place?"
So like the thing for me is like there wasn't even a Deadpool 2 teaser. Cable's been cast. There's no concept art. Even to have a clip of Ryan Reynolds talking or him on the stage, like they did that a couple years ago. Tom Hiddleston came out dressed as Loki in character, like. And last year they just chose not to do one because they said piracy, but really they had nothing to do. So like I was gonna go on a bigger rant, but you know what?
That's enough.
Fuck Fox, you know? Come on. Like people are there, spend their hard-earned money. Give them a fucking Deadpool clip. Like just have Ryan Reynolds film something on his set. You know, like I'm sure people love Kingsman, but let's talk about the first Kingsman trailer. Taylor, start.
You know, I thought it was interesting. I didn't even know that they started dropping that trailer today, and that was all we got at Fox.
And here's the other thing: they released that trailer before the panel, so you didn't even get like a big exclusive.
Yeah, it was like super early this morning. I saw it,
and the panel's at noon or 11. It's like
noon. Well, just people could just stay home for
fucking Fox Comic-Con.
I mean, I don't know, nothing special. I mean, I would have loved some Predator news or something like that. That's what gets me going. So
speaking of Kingsman, though,
huh? Yeah, Kingsman looks. Ooh, that looks good.
Ooh, hand motions today.
So yeah, I'm down for it.
That's all you have to say. Okay.
Sure.
I said keep it quick.
Honestly, I would say that this trailer, it almost just seemed like an extension of the first one. Like I didn't get a whole lot more. The only thing more I got is that I feel like Julianne Moore, whatever her character, because she wasn't in the first one.
No.
Yeah, I feel like I got the feeling that she's going to be a bigger character in this movie.
She's the villain of this movie.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know that. Now I know that. So. That's what I'd say this trailer did, but other than that, I mean, it was some cool shots, some cool technology, their gadgets that they have, but, I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like my excitement level from the first trailer didn't change, like, pretty much at all.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think the thing for me I liked the most was the action, like, seeing him using the lasso. Like, that's one thing the first Kingsman was known for. Is
lasso.
What did I say? Lasso. Let's see you later. That's one thing that the first Kingsman did really well, and this looks like it's going to continue on. Just even stuff like Taron Egerton's character, like running around, like flipping on guys, spinning, it looked good. I like that. It looks like there's going to be kind of a struggle of power between the surviving Kingsman and the Statesman. Yeah. At first, I thought the Statesmen, like the American guys, were going to be full-on villains. I think that could still happen and be like sort of a twisty thing that they were helping, because who knows, or maybe there's like a divide, there's some good, some bad. The cast is great, like it's stacked with good people. Channing Tatum looks like a lot of fun. I'm glad Colin Firth is back. I think he's the best part of the movie. They still gotta explain how he survived a gunshot to the head. I know they got an eye patch over his eye, but I don't think it's as simple.
People have done it. Is it common? No. People have done it.
True. But like for me, this just looks like it's James Bond on cocaine, and that's what I love. Like the part where he takes the lasso and he takes
cocaine.
Oh, yeah, of course. Look at how I'm talking right now. I couldn't do this podcast without this. The part where a guy's running at him and he, like, lassoed around him and it turned into a laser and just chopped him in half. Yeah. Like, that's what I love, that it's rated R, fun. Like, and I really liked the first one. I didn't love it as much as everyone else. People, like, it's one of their best movies that year. I thought it was, like, maybe the top 10, you know. Really enjoyed it. Fun time. I think I'll really enjoy the second one, but I don't think it deserved an hour-long fucking panel. Anything else to say on the Kingsman coming out?
I like the Who, so, you know.
Yeah, great song choice.
It's my generation.
Mm-hmm. And I think they did good with, like, they edited it with the music every time he's punching and kicking. Definitely. Really well done. So, Kingsman 2.
Do you know who that song is by? I just said it, but can you remember?
The who?
Okay, nice.
And what was the song called?
Who? I don't know.
Oh,
the name of the song.
Jesus. Let's get into the big man. I'm wearing his shirt right now. I'm very excited. So, a weird Defenders trailer came out today. We're not sure.
Very
My
weird.
theory was maybe Korea accidentally released it because now there's an American version hours later. But pretty much.
Wait, so the American
There is
version is out?
Yeah,
on
but it
YouTube?
came out hours
And
later.
is it the same?
It's the exact same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if that was. That to me feels like that's something you play at the very end of the Comic-Con panel and you've shown everything because the trailer is just like I guess I'm
It's
going
like a
first.
reminder, yeah.
It's just like it's all old clips put together like of the previous shows of the heroes, which is great. It's like a whatever, like a best of. And if this was the trailer they're going to show tomorrow, because we'll see because we're doing the panel tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if they do this, then we won't do another podcast. But I'm fine if they show a Defenders trailer again, but I would actually be fine if this was it because I don't need to see anymore, especially with only being 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I think the 2 trailers were good. This is a good trailer to remind people. I think anybody that's watching The Defenders is already watching it. I think even people like a Taylor or Jessica that haven't watched it all may even watch it because it's like the big one. You're like, that happened with Avengers, right? There's people that didn't see Thor or Captain America, right? So, and the last thing was, they haven't officially said it, but this to me is 100% confirmation that Punisher's definitely in it. It's funny, we talked about this a year ago, and it's exactly the way I predicted. # Travis told you of the, like, oh, looks like I'm just in time. That looks like he's coming in at the end of episode 7. He's going to help out in 8. Like, I predicted he'd come on a bike and, like, oh, what's going on, Red? Like, and that looks like the case. So that's been a big question the past year. Is Punisher going to be in it? I think it's perfect. One, because John Barenthal's great, and then it's going to end, and then it can go right into his series. Like, we can see what he's up to. So, I think the trailer was fine. We'll see if we get more tomorrow, because the panel is, but I'm stoked that John Bernthal, even if it's just an episode, is great, because he was such a highlight in the Netflix universe. So,
as for me, like, I feel like my excitement was already at, like, the maximum, because I've watched all the shows, and they're all, like good to great, so, like, I can't complain. So I was already going to watch this, like, the first day, and so I want to say I'm disappointed in this trailer, but I almost don't feel like it was a trailer, right?
Well, yeah.
I feel like it was more, like I said earlier, that it was just like a reminder, like, hey, this is coming out soon, and I just realized that like a couple days ago. I was like, wait, Defenders actually comes out really soon.
August,
I'm fucking stoked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as for myself, like, I was already sold, but I'm just curious. Like, it seems like a weird choice because for people like Taylor who have only seen like half of Daredevil and like an episode of Iron Fist.
No, he has
That's
2
the
left of
backwards.
Iron Fist. He has
An
two
episode of Daredevil
Okay.
and half
You
of
bastard. You're
Yeah,
such
like-
a disgrace.
Like,
to
this
podcast.
trailer is not going to get those people motivated to crunch those shows out or even just like start watching that, right? So I feel like it was a strange choice.
Do you think this trailer works as a kind of way it showed highlights from shows? Do you think it kind of works as a way to give you a little bit of a backstory without, I don't know these characters, but it's the rundown? Or do you think it's too brief to even do that?
Honestly, not really, because they all just kind of like punch someone.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really like. Obviously, the big part of these characters isn't necessarily the powers, because that's from like the powers. The interesting part with the powers is more in the movies. The TV show is more about like like a lot of character development and like issues within like within the world itself. So I think you can't really get that across in a 1-minute teaser, let alone one where it's just them punching people. So. No, I really don't think it did, actually.
Yeah.
I
didn't mention, what do you think about Stan Lee? I thought it was a nice touch, It's always good to have Stan the Man there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's the reason all of this exists,
Yeah.
so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, having him as a narrator is pretty cool, because normally he's just like, he just had, like, I feel like that trailer is more than he has in any given movie, right?
Yeah, and he hasn't actually physically appeared once in the Netflix show. He's only been on the
posters,
walls. Because he's in this world, he's like a retired cop or something.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that,
in the first Daredevil, it's like his name, like his picture's on the precinct. So.
Oh, right. I never really paused to look at what it was. I was just like, hey, there's...
Some people still think that, like, in the whole MCU, like, he's a retired cop, and all these Avengers have been, like, him and his retirement.
Wow.
And what do you think about the Punisher reveal? That it seems like he's going to at least play some sort of role in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling he would be in here at some point. Not a major character just because they don't have time for him, but I think, you made a good point. Like, I'm glad that they're bringing him back, even if it's just for a little bit, because since he's been gone, you could say, like, Luke Cage happened and then Iron Fist happened, so it's been some time, so it'll be good, like, refresher of, okay, this is what this character was doing, maybe, and then here's, like, an intro into his show, because you have to imagine that there is going to be a a lot more people hopping into Defenders than there was for
yeah.
like any of the individual shows.
Yeah.
So
I'll be really surprised
people
if
will
it
go
doesn't
that and
surpass.
see, oh, Punisher, this guy looks badass. Oh, his show's coming out next year. Watch it.
Yeah.
And then obviously people will watch Defenders and go back and watch the other shows.
Not
as well.
even next year. Punisher comes out this fall. Comes out in like October,
Right.
November. The rumors.
Yeah, it does.
I think tomorrow, like I
We'll
said,
get
we'll
confirmation
yeah.
of the
So then
date,
we'll talk
yeah.
about that. So yeah, Taylor, as someone like we refer to many times as cast, that's just seen
Just on for the ride.
an appetizer of these shows and a disgrace to this podcast.
You know, I remember when Daredevil came out, like, you were all hyped about it. I'm like, I'll give it a watch, and, like, I don't know, it didn't hook me, I guess, the first episode. I didn't feel that hook, you know? I have trouble with superhero TV shows. I don't
in
know.
my head, you said Deadpool, so I was like, I was like, it didn't hook you? I thought you liked Deadpool. And then, wait, episode? What?
Well, he wasn't
What
on
did
the
I
review.
miss?
He wasn't on the review list, so we still actually don't know if Taylor's seen. He might
He
just
hasn't
be
seen
saying
it.
it to
Have
be
you seen
cool.
Deadpool?
Yeah, I own it.
That's not believable at all. I believe there's
That's not something you have to think about, man. You just say yes or no. Yeah,
Anyways,
I own it.
We're ready. Go. What do you think as someone looking from the outside in? You're not part of the Coolest Kids Club.
I think, you know, the thing that got me excited was Stan Lee. I thought it was really cool.
See, that's why I asked, you know?
His message he was getting across and everything, and how everything he was talking about reflected each individual hero that was being introduced into the Defenders
Fair enough, that's good.
film here, or whatever, the show. I thought it was really cool, the different aspect, and how it was explaining it. But, I mean, when I watched the first trailer, I wasn't overly too excited for it, but I feel like out of all the different shows that we've seen...
Really? I thought you said the exact opposite. I thought when the trailer came out, you're like, man, I really gotta go and watch all these shows.
I'll have to listen to that podcast. To see what I said. But no, this time around, you know...
No integrity.
I feel like when Taylor doesn't have something to say, he just says something anyway, even if it's not true. Just be like, yeah, I had my
my 2 cents.
I haven't seen many of these shows. I really don't know what to tell you, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen.
But as of right now, we're a month out. You can get this perspective. Are you going to watch them all? Are you not going to watch us all? Or are you just going to jump into Defenders?
I feel like I'm more inclined to finish off Iron Fist and then jump into Defenders.
Oh, just the
Wow.
one show.
I feel like that's the worst decision.
Yeah.
Jessica
Iron
Jones.
Fist is the weakest one of them all. Too.
Jessica Jones, I didn't have any kind of pull towards.
Someone probably edited like a shorter version of Jessica Jones that might be a bit better, so
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
gonna
watch that.
Luke Cage, you guys kind of just like downgraded that for me. I feel
We
like.
did?
Wow.
Because you guys didn't really
shows you listen to our
hype it up.
content. We all still gave it like pretty good reviews.
I know, but when you guys explained it as, I just thought, oh, Luke Cage doesn't seem like it needs to be watched, so...
Well, there you go, Defenders. We're very excited. Me and Dale for
Wow.
sure will be on that review. I'm very excited for Defenders.
We will watch it the first weekend it comes
Mhm.
out. Honestly, 8 episodes, I could do that on Friday.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
Review out Friday night.
We will for
at
sure.
2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll watch it again on Saturday.
This is something that I'm the most excited for. I've been waiting and waiting because for the past year, there's been no news until this past month. It was like poster, some information, and we got a trailer for Jigsaw. The
I
continuation.
forgot what the other thing was. I was like, he's not going to say Brian, is he?
I thought you were going to say Brian.
The continuation of the Saw franchise. I'm going to start with you guys and see what you guys think about this. And I guess you both have not seen them all, correct?
I've seen them all.
Okay.
I don't remember the later ones. I remember the like first two more like vividly than the later
So
ones.
you haven't seen the last one?
I've seen the last one.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Well,
Yeah.
just so you
Favorite.
know, you're welcome. We can officially announce it here. We're going to be doing a Saw retrospective starting.
We are?
It's-
Okay,
and all- we're
cool.
doing it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Do you want to be on that?
I think I'd
It's
like to
me,
be on
Dylan,
that.
and Jessica right now. Yeah. So as we've done with Spider-Man, Batman in the past, we're going to watch all the Saw films leading up to fucking Jigsaw. So if you like this,
We're fucking Jigsaw.
that's what it's called, the
Whoa.
rants.
GeekVerse exclusive.
Fucking Jigsaw. But no, we're going to watch them all and review them all. Check out our other retrospectives, see what we do, but it's going to be lots of fun. So as someone that has seen them all, what do you think about this?
As the series kind of progressed, you know, it kind of got this weird kind of corny kind of tone to it, I felt like, an atmosphere. Like, it was just killing. And it wasn't aimed properly for, like, the kind of generation that, like, I feel like it's, when you split it down in the middle, like, the first few films were aimed perfectly, I feel like, for that kind of generation of, like, horror fans and everything. And the next half was just, it was very mindless. It didn't feel like, there were story aspects,
I don't think they were cheesy. I think they're more just mindless and gory because, like, cheesy to me is, like, what Chucky has become in, like,
Yeah,
Halloween.
that's
like,
true.
Like Friday the 13th, where it's, like, it's really jokey, where I never felt that Saw movies were jokey. I just felt like it was more about, like, how can we split people in half.
Yeah, that's a good way to point that out then. I mean, it didn't really aside from just adding more things to the story, it didn't really deliver for me in that sense. I like the originals more, but this one, seeing the trailer for this, it seems really cool because it's made more for this kind of generation we're in now, and it's taken like at least what I feel like the kind of mystery and kind of the interesting parts of like the originals, and giving it that modern twist that we can like appreciate people that are new.
I guess very limited experience. I did like it. I thought it was different than what I was expecting, because you hear Saw and you just think about like all these interesting ways that people have been killed, but there was like more of a story to it and like psychological components to it, and some twists and turns in the plot. So yeah, I'm excited for the retrospective just because like it's another one of those movies, the classic movies that I just haven't seen but I've always wanted to. So I'll finally get to that. As for this trailer, it did feel cheesy. That's the feeling I got from this trailer. And obviously I don't have the experience of like the previous movies, but I did hear that they kind of, less so had story and more so kind of, it seemed like they're just grasping at straws and maybe a money grab in there too a little bit. But yeah, this trailer, it was kind of cheesy. Did it get me excited for the movie? I don't know. Like I'm not too excited just because like I haven't seen the other Saws yet. So in terms of the story, the fact that he's back means nothing to me because he never went anywhere.
Yeah,
so,
fair enough, yeah.
And then I had one more point that I was gonna make. Oh yeah, he kind of looked like Skull Kid from Majora's Mask. That was the vibe I was getting. A little
At the
chuckle.
end, Billy
Yeah.
Puppet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's. It's not him though, technically.
It's like his
that's just a puppet.
his icon.
Little bot.
Yeah. Because I thought that was a
Yeah.
real person from the first Saw, but no.
But yeah, I don't want to say too much about Saw because I've only seen one of them. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to get your retrospective or just your feeling on the last few, because I think you're gonna maybe hate some of these movies,
Nice.
but I think it'll be a good hate watch. Yeah, for myself, I love the Saw franchise, one of my favorite franchises. I can see some of the cheesiness. This trailer is like 60-40 for me, of 60% I like, and I'll say this. It looks better than I was expecting because we had not seen anything from it, and it's coming out in October, which is really close. It's not that far away. So I was expecting kind of like a Curse of Chucky, like oof, this looks really bad. But this at least looks like it could go near the route of those other older films, but it looks like it has potential to be good. Like it's not something I write off right away. It feels very different. I can't remember how do you pronounce their names? The Spearig brothers, I'm not sure how to pronounce their names. I've not seen all their films. The one film I have seen was Daybreakers. Really, really fun horror film. And they have a really distinct style. And that's the biggest thing from this trailer. It felt different than the other movies. Other than the traps, like I said to Dylan, the first thing I picked up on is this trailer uses licensed music. And it's always been like creepy, score, want to play a game. This was like, it had a different vibe to it, which could be good or it could be bad. Their vibe could make it kind of comical, which I don't want Saw to be, or it could, like you were saying, bring it in for a new generation. The people with the traps, you can never know if there's going to be a story, because sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. One con for me, I think they maybe showed something where I kind of figured out who's going to live, who's going to die, and I didn't like that. There's just a couple scenes where I was like, this kind of shows that maybe these people make it, and I didn't like that. Who knows? But for me, the thing that I liked about it the most, and this is on the other spectrum for Dylan, of like, I've seen them all, and for me, the Jigsaw thing is really fun, because them playing that up, that was the thing for me of like, okay, they say in the trailer, so if you haven't seen them, and he says he has cancer in the first Saw, so you know this, he eventually passes away, Jigsaw. So it's this thing of like, okay, with this, the next Saw, were they just going to ignore that and move along to a new killer? But when they said it's Jigsaw, I'm like, oh, that's strange. And this trailer's so heavily like, oh, like we found his blood and his voice is around. I like that aspect because I think that's getting back to the original Saw of there's a mystery, who's doing this and why. I think that's the part that makes me confident that this could be a good movie, because they're really playing that up. The victim stuff could be alright, it could be fun, but I like the spectrum of, hey, who's doing this? It can't be this guy, so what's happening? And I think that could be good. It could be, all horror movies have a really high or small ratio of like good or bad. Like they can be really cheesy really quick, but this gives me at least faith as opposed to where I last left off with Saw. And the last Saw is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And that's been from someone that loves them. There's 2 scenes I could rewatch. It's fucking awful.
Nice.
Awful. But this gives me hope, and I'll be there. I think, October, obviously a good release date. We're going to watch them all. I'm going to get excited. But I have faith, at least. Not the worst trailer I've seen, at least put some like excitement in my brain.
Nice.
So it's coming out in October, and it's coming out in October, isn't it?
No, September. So there's some space.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's good. People will be in that horror mood, and I think Saw has been away, even though they did the final chapter. I think it's been away long enough for people to go out and kind of feel a little nostalgia about it, or it's going to come out just going to completely bomb, and this will be the last Saw ever. So that's what happens with these older movies.
And what's Chucky again?
Chucky's just straight to DVD, so you don't gotta worry.
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna watch that because that was great.
Oh yeah.
Bright, a Netflix original. This is one I actually have been waiting for a very, very, very long time.
Are you joking? I don't get it.
I'm not. Okay, I'll start.
Wait, this is an actual thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is actual thing. I'm not. So I imagine you did not like the trailer, but we'll get.
No, I just didn't know that this was part of something.
Yeah,
I was wondering if it was like some book or I don't know.
No, like the main one is Max Landis. He's a son of John Landis. Obviously, he's a big writer in Hollywood right now. He's writing stuff like Dirk Gently. He wrote stuff like Chronicle, American Ultra. He's written my favorite Superman comic of all time, American Alien. I don't like Superman comics that much because Superman go fuck himself. But I like this. Like, I'm a big fan of him as a writer and as a person. Like, when he does when he does like a lot of appearances on podcasts, I really like the way he thinks about things. So I'm a big fan of him. He has a really kooky, kind of fun style to his writing. So there's that. Will Smith, I'm a fan of. Joel Edgerton, I'm a big fan of. And I didn't know he was playing, like, the troll. I just heard he was in the movie. I didn't know he's a troll.
They're elves.
I didn't know he was an elf. That's fucking awesome.
Troll?
The chemistry between Will Smith and Joel Edgerton looked great. We love him on the podcast. And I am a huge fan of Joel Edgerton. He's going to be on the Man Crush Soon list.
The Man Crush Soon? Is that a separate list? Soon?
I'm trying to talk fast. Man Crush list soon. I thought the whole world looked really cool. I love that, and this is very Max Landis of, hey, we got to get a magic wand. Like the MacGuffin, like what they have to get is so kind of cheesy and out there, but you can tell it's not that movie like King Arthur where you see, oof, they're trying to be really serious about this, and this looks bad. Like this looks like they're playing into and having some fun the way the characters look. And yes, David Ayer did direct Suicide Squad. I didn't see Fury, but I love and really like a lot of his other previous films, and I think Suicide Squad was a lot to do with the studio, so I am very excited to see what he can do on Netflix. All of them have talked about that Netflix just kind of let them go and do this movie, and I think Netflix still needs to hit a couple home runs with movies. They're doing great with TV. Movies are kind of hit or miss. There's not been that one Netflix movie that I think everyone's going to remember, like, you gotta see this, you gotta see this. Mm-hmm. I think this could be that, and yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and December 22nd, Netflix, I really want to do a review of that, so I'm sure we will, but I'm very excited for it. I've really anticipated this movie, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks like something very unique, right? Just, it's taking like these, elves and then putting them into like a...
They're not trolls?
They're not trolls.
Oh, damn.
There might be trolls. Those might be the villains. And putting them into, the everyday world. And I feel like that they could use that to touch on like some topics of like racism or something. I was kind of getting that vibe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I think watching this trailer, I think this movie looks interesting, and I don't know if I'd say I'm excited to see it yet, but I think I definitely will watch it. I don't know if I love the trailer though. I don't know. I felt like the trailer was a little bit messy, and then when I saw Suicide Squad, I was like, okay. Yeah, it looked a little bit messy with like the characters, and I feel like the jokes they made in there were like pretty lame and kind of unnecessary. I don't really know what this movie's gonna be, and I think I'm excited to find out what kind of movie it's going to be. I don't really know what it's trying to go for here.
I think you hit it on the nail on the head. I think it's going to be like a cop drama, but with fantasy, with playing up the race element and playing up that kind of like adventure, hey, we got to stop this big thing from exploding.
It definitely looks unique. Like, I can't say I've seen a trailer or a movie that really reminds me of this one.
Yeah, and
so, cool.
His writing is a lot like that. So, and a lot of times there's stuff that I'm not even a big fan of because it's sometimes so out there. I'm like, this isn't really for me, but he always like goes for it. So,
I had no idea that this was a thing or even like coming out at all. I was scrolling on Facebook and like, oh, what's up, Will Smith? And I clicked it, and
Wait, is he on your friends list?
No, I follow his Facebook page.
He's on his friends list.
Making a joke.
He's on his friends soon list. That's
yes.
Doesn't answer my emails. So
who would?
Wow. I'm watching it. Like when the title was like orcs and everything, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. But where's this gonna go? Like orcs? I didn't even orcs and elves and fairies. That's what
it did say orcs.
Is there orcs?
Yeah,
that's his partner. It's an orc.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I had no idea,
Crossover.
like, what I was in for, like, and then when it shows, like, oh, he's a cop and his partner's an orc, I'm like, oh, this is actually a really cool idea. Like, I never thought of that kind of, like, universe before, where it's, like, present day in this kind of world, but with fairies, orcs, and magic and everything. That's just so weird.
Magic.
Magic,
Is there magic?
Magic wands.
I think there's a magic wands. There's definitely magic.
Definitely
Okay.
magic.
And Naomi Rapace is in it too, from Alien or from Prometheus as well.
Was she in the trailer?
Mm-hmm. She's like the blonde evil, and they're like this witchess or a chantress comes up from the ground. That's the girl from Prometheus, the main one that played. What the fuck is her name?
Shaw. Elizabeth Shaw.
Shaw.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
So
recognize
cast
her.
is really good, and for some reason, I think Terry Crews might be in this because he was I think he was at the panel at Comic-Con. That's how they released this trailer. So I think Crews was probably like one of those orders, and he's always welcome.
He's just like a hype man, though.
Yeah.
They could have easily got him there
They
just to
just
like,
hired him.
get the crowd pumped.
That's the day I wish that, I really hope our podcast is that successful that we can get Terry Crews to hype something we're doing, That's when we've made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream.
Mm-hmm.
That is the long-term goal.
I'm definitely gonna see this movie. I couldn't tell if it was like a TV show or if it was a movie as the trailer progressed. And then when they said
It's a really high budget TV show.
when it was, well, when they
If
said
it was a TV
movie,
show, would you watch it?
oh yeah, absolutely.
I think you actually don't think you
No.
would. No.
I totally would. I just think the idea, like, just orcs, magic, everything, modern day, like, just that, as soon as that first joke dropped, where he's like, I think you need, like, some more conjugal love or whatever, and Will Smith's like, don't ever wink at me like that again. I was laughing my
That
head
was good.
off. I'm like, this is great. Like, just the kind of, like, innocent humor that, like, the orcs are gonna have and everything. I thought was just amazing.
Innocent orc humor.
I love
Yeah.
some more humor.
Is that all you have to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. I have quick things to shout out that are semi-Comic-Con related, not really. For comic fans, Arkham Asylum 2 is happening. Grant Morrison's writing it. It's a really, really good comic. Really, really, like, it feels like he took LSD to write it. It's just Batman gets locked in Arkham Asylum. Very much like the video game, but this is a bit much more like thriller, kind of brain fuck sort of comic book. So that's happening.
Brain fuck.
Telltale announced that they're doing Wolf Among Us Season 2, finally, which is one of their first ones. They're doing the final season of The Walking Dead, so I guess they're closing the chapter on that. And then for me, Batman Telltale Season 2 is already coming out. August is the first episode's dropping, Enemy Within. It looks like Riddler and the Joker are the villains. That's welcomed. I love the Batman game.
Who were the villains from the first one?
There was Catwoman and Penguin, but then the main one was a made up. I think she was, or the person was like some son of Arkham or king of Arkham. It was like a twisty one. So I'm really excited. I'm surprised how quickly it's coming out because it just came out like I think last September or something. So but I think that just shows because Batman produces because a lot of money. And the last thing was I had that Crash is doing really well. Digital was #1 for June. Same thing I think for PlayStation. It was, or I don't think it was PlayStation. It was for what was it? Physical copies #1. So keep buying it. Get us Spyro. Get us all the rest of it. But I wanted to shout that out because we won't have a newscast for like a week or two. So that's all I had. Does anything have anything to shout out before we head on out of here?
Pacific Rim 2.
Fuck yeah. And then fuck yeah, like I forgot. Fuck yeah, I'm more like
movie.
fuck no, I'm not gonna see it. Not seen the first one. I've seen bits and pieces on TV, and I like the cast. I like Guillermo del Toro. Wasn't for me. I'd rather go see Power Rangers, and it doesn't look like we're going to Power Rangers 2. So, what you like Power Rangers 2? Why
I do, but I love Pacific Rim. You know, I mean, just
before you go, let Dylan go because
I was just gonna say that this trailer looked like a commercial from the 1990s for Bionicles.
Yeah. Really bad trailer.
It wasn't a great trailer. No, it didn't get me hyped whatsoever.
Yeah, like even taking our we won't see this. It's just the trailer alone.
I agree with you. For that.
Wow.
And why?
But keep going.
No, that's all I have to say. What else is there to say if that's what you have to say about a trailer?
I feel like a movie of this scale. You know, you have
such
giant,
rich history.
You have giant aliens fighting giant mech suits. I mean, they promoted it very poorly in the trailer. I feel like what they were going for. They're trying to build you up like, okay, it's all about these suits, these gigantic mecha suits. So it's great, and you feel like you're like, and it's an extension of yourself. You feel more enlarged and more empowered. But it didn't suit the kind of theme.
I love feeling more large. I'll do anything to get me more large.
Large and in charge.
I would have loved to have, like, not seen, like, the aliens, but just, like, more of this, like, the guy getting into the big suit and just kind of strolling through, because, like, cinematically, like, the environments and the landscapes were just so beautiful and colorful as a movie, the original one was.
I was about to say, not in the trailer.
Not in the trailer,
really
no, definitely not. So, I mean, I definitely wish they showcased a little bit of that and not just, as you said, like, a commercial for Bionicle.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a teaser, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah, I guess.
It was, yeah. So
some teasers are full of trailers, but most of them are just...
The story's pretty cool though for Pacific Rim. You guys should definitely check it out.
I definitely won't, but
I'll spark note it.
I hope for John Boyega it's a good movie. I like him, so I hope it's a good John Boyega.
Boyega.
He's a fan from Star Wars.
Did they say when this Pacific Rim 2 is coming out?
They might have, but I didn't care enough to know.
I'm just wondering if he's.
I think it's next year.
You don't
Next
drop
year?
that in a teaser.
Well, I was wondering if they were releasing it just so John Boyega could, like, boost it up, riding off Star Wars hype or something.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what he's going to do in the rest of his life.
Riding off Star Wars hype.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is probably our quickest episode of all time, but we had to do it. We're on the clock. Like I said, later on tonight, come back if you're watching us live on YouTube. We're going to do Dunkirk live. We're going to do spoilers, but I don't know how much there is a spoiler because it's a true event. So, I think you know what it ends. But we're very excited for that. Taylor, I'm not going to let you do your links because you take so long.
I can be quick.
Let's give him a chance.
Okay, everyone in the search bar, you gotta type in GeekVerse Space Podcast on your Facebook. You'll find tons of awesome content, including this episode and future live streams coming up. So check us out, YouTube, everything, geekversepodcast.com. Travis, take it away.
I'm going to throw up links for the YouTube listeners. If not podcasts, you can look in all the description. Thank you very much. This is the first podcast of many this weekend. We're covering Comic-Con like a motherfucker, and it won't be boring.
Later.